You are listening to an Audio Box original story. Please like and subscribe, and I will create more stories for your listening pleasure.
The Bathhouse, Chapter 4, The Ghost of Factory 9. Glia didn't turn on the lights. The moonlight filtered through the shattered bathroom window, casting long, jagged shadows across the gray walls of her studio. She sat on the floor with her back against the sofa, her laptop glowing like a campfire in the dark. The Glock 19 lay within reach on the coffee table, a cold reminder that her home was no longer a sanctuary, and that feeling kept her alert, ready to take action if anyone came through that door. She examined the note that was stuck on her bathroom mirror. On the back of the sticky note it read, "Subject 12, you know where to look." The teapot whistled and echoed through the darkness as she made her way to the kitchen to pour herself a cup of tea. She poured a cup of pumpkin spice tea. It was her favorite, and the memories from a time of happiness flooded her mind. Yes, she sighed. This is what I need to calm me down, she thought. The sound of the teapot whistling was soothing to Glia. It brought back fragmented memories of a time when she was little with her mother, and she was curled up into her arms as they sipped tea by the fireplace. Just a few more sips. Then I must find out what is going on, she said to herself. Though I shouldn't be doing this, because accessing the deep layer archives without a mission brief was a Class A violation. But the image of the boy, his trembling limbs and the spray of blood against the steel pole, was burned into her thoughts. Authorization, Glia 77 Alpha, she whispered, her fingers flying across the keys. She bypassed the surface-level personnel files and dug into the closed project vaults of Factory 9. The digital dust was thick here. These were files meant to be forgotten. She searched for Subject 012. A single file appeared. It was labeled Project Chrysalis, Terminated. Glia's breath caught as she scrolled through the data. It wasn't just physical training. The boy had been the first to receive a concentrated dose of the CX-31 serum, not via a standard injection, but through a permanent shunt in his spine. They hadn't been trying to make a soldier, they were trying to create a pure instinct fighting machine. Subject log, day 402. Subject 012 has ceased verbal communication. Reflexes are now 300% above human baseline, however the bleed has begun. The subject claims to see events before they occur. He describes it as hearing the chime before the bell is struck. Glia touched the bandage on her neck. The chime. She remembered the sounds she heard in the bathhouse, the tuning forks, the music. She scrolled further down to the final report, dated 10 years ago. Incident report. Sector 4 breach subject 012 suffered a neural collapse during a routine conditioning session. At 14:00 hours, the subject bypassed his restraints. The following staff members were neutralized: Dr. Aris, Guard H2, and lead technician Carver. Glia froze. Carver. She remembered him from her dream, the man with the dusty brown hair and the limp. The file said he was killed, but her dream showed him alive, arguing in a basement office. The report concluded with a grainy photo of a blood-spattered hallway and a summary. Subject 012 eliminated via localized demolition of Sector 4. No remains recovered. Status, deceased. No remains, Glia muttered. They didn't kill him. They lost him. She cross-referenced the chemical signature of the boy's serum with Rayon's current dosage. A red warning light flashed on her screen. Incompatible. Rayon wasn't the boy. He was the replacement. Purgatory had been trying to recreate what they lost in Subject 012, but they were failing. The serum wasn't working on Rayon. It was breaking him, turning him into a savage, because his body was rejecting the very thing that was supposed to make him a god. A sudden chill swept through the room. The scent of incense, the same scent from Ming's bathhouse, wafted through the air even though Glia hadn't lit any. She looked at the mirror on her medicine cabinet, visible through the open bathroom door. In the reflection, she didn't see her own face. For a split second, she saw a man standing behind her, not Rayon, but someone older, with eyes that looked like they had seen the end of the world. She spun around, gun drawn, her heart hammering against her ribs. The apartment was empty. Only the wind whistled through the broken window. But on her computer screen, the text had changed. The file on Subject 012 had been replaced by a single line of code that repeated over and over, Where is the boy, Glia? Where is the boy, Glia? Scrolling endlessly down the screen. Her phone vibrated on the table. It was a message from an encrypted purgatory line. Commander Kane requests your presence at Factory 9 immediately. Bring the seed. It is time for a reevaluation. Glia closed the laptop with a snap. She knew now that the reevaluation could mean trouble. That boy hadn't died that day, she thought. He was out there, a ghost in the system, and Purgatory was terrified that he was coming back for his revenge. And somehow, she was the key to finding him. Glia slid a fresh magazine into her Glock, the mechanical clack echoing in the dark room. Her mind was spinning, threading together the fragments of her vision with the data on her screen. Subject 012, the boy who was tortured. Rayon, the man who blacked out. She looked at her laptop one last time before snapping it shut. It wasn't just that they were both CDs. It was the genetic enhancement. Purgatory hadn't just used the same serum, they were trying to perfect a cycle. The boy was the prototype, she whispered, her hands pausing on the straps of her tactical vest. And Rayon. Rayon is the legacy. The realization hit her like a physical blow. The reason Rayon's body was rejecting the serum, the reason he was blacking out into a savage rage, was because he was trying to become what the ghost already was. The ghost wasn't just haunting the factory, he was watching Rayon. Was the ghost trying to save Rayon from his fate? Or was he waiting for Rayon to finally break, so there would be two of them to burn Purgatory to the ground? She grabbed her heavy coat, her movements becoming more urgent. She wasn't just going to a reevaluation anymore. She was walking into a family reunion of the most dangerous kind. If the ghost is the boy, Glia muttered, checking the hidden blade in her sleeve, then he's not just a memory. He's the original, and he's coming to claim what they tried to replace him with. She headed for the door, her heart hammering a rhythm that felt like the chimes in the bathhouse. I'm coming, Rayon, she said to the empty hall, but I don't think I'm the only one.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe so I can bring you more original stories, and please feel free to comment and share your thoughts. It will be much appreciated. Please come back and visit because more chapters are on the way. Thanks again.